not decrease gun violence. We call BS. They say a good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun. We call BS. They say guns are just tools like knives and are as dangerous as cars. We call BS. They say that no laws could have been able to prevent the hundreds of senseless tragedies that have occurred. We call BS. That us kids don't know what we're talking about, that we're too young to understand how the government works. We call BS. If you agree, register to vote. Contact your local congresspeople. Give them a piece of your mind.
Listen to that, folks. Wow, right? A bunch of fucking teenagers, a bunch of high school students are going to tell all adults nowadays how to deal with these kind of school shootings, these kind of very difficult situations where some insane fucking moron, some sociopath, or people who are just plain evil. Now, the establishment media, think about how many different ways, not just the establishment media, but the leftists, the collectivists, the authoritarian types. I mean, they've been trying forever to try to deny and restrict or completely eliminate the Second Amendment in the United States of America. You know, this is the thing that fucking, oh man, this shit. Let me just tell you, I'm going to be really passionate here, folks, okay? I got to tell you right now. There's going to be a lot of fucking emotion coming up here. I'm going to try to tamp it down enough and still be reasonable. I still want to be as objective as humanly possible. But I got to fucking tell you, when I hear this shit, oh, it gets my blood. It's just right now it's even boiling. And I've already heard this shit. I listened to this already a fucking couple times. But even just hearing it now, just those, because it's like, oh, you piece of shit. And it's not against these poor kids, right? I mean, come on. We've all had, I mean, if you're a fucking parent, you've had, you know, young teenagers as children, right? But they're naive, right? Especially the kind of propaganda, kind of bullshit that they're hearing constantly espoused by their fucking teachers, like those in the education system, the collectivists, the leftists, the ideologues, the postmodernists, the culture Marxists. They've been hearing so much fear-mongering and hatred and divisive politics, identity politics, that no wonder they're fucking doing this shit. What's disturbing to me is not what these fucking young people are saying, because, hey, they're young people, and we were all there at one stage in our life, so I can't hate on them. They seem like they're just, I guess, trying to put forth some kind of care or compassion, right? Although, when you listen to them and then they bring into this, well, vote for this person, it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, that's another thing too. Let me point out before I continue on. And like I say, this fucking video might be all over the place, because I didn't even sit down and write down all the ways I'm going to carry this. I'm free wheeling it here, folks. I'm just going off the cuff here. But this sounds fucking scripted, right? Like, what the fuck is bringing politics into it? What? Vote for what? Vote for what? People that want to take people's gun rights away? I mean, the fucking person that killed all these fucking students was obviously a vile piece of shit, evil, sadistic person. But why in the fuck would anyone ever think that just because this particular individual person, or even the few individuals that have carried out some very violent acts throughout, you know, in the past, I don't even care, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, all these violent school shootings are all, listen, using emotional pleas or appeals to people's fucking compassion is the most vile and despicable way to micromanage and manipulate people's emotions and feelings. I find that, you know what, like I say, as much as I have loathing and disdain for some of these like really ultra conservative, social conservative dipshits and people that just want to be pure dogmatists, but you know what? They are a much less representation of a threat to freedom than these leftist ideologues are in this modern age that we live in. Let me just tell you that, folks. At least the conservatives of today, the ones in the political landscape anyways, they're not trying to use that emotional plea, right? That appeal to humans' morality and their compassion as a means to their political ends nearly as much as those on the left side of the political spectrum. Like I say, these collectivists, these dogmatists, these ideologues on the left, They're trying desperately. It's like they're grasping at straws constantly. How can we come up with a way where we can restrict or deny the American people their rights to defend themselves? And listen to what these fucking students said. Nothing what they said. What law could you possibly write or enact would negate, circumvent, or eliminate bad actors or evil fucking people carrying out their deeds? I mean, like I said, the stabbing in China, 30-some people, the Nice attack in fucking France with, what, 78 fucking people, or maybe 80 plus, I don't know, whatever, people that were run over by some dude in a fucking truck. 9/11, hello, it was a fucking couple planes flying into buildings. Thousands of people died. Bombings, IEDs, Boston. How many fucking different ways? There are so many ways people can kill other people. You don't need a gun. So this constant thing where you're trying to make it about the gun and not the person, not the fucking person, but the instrument that they used. The minute someone tries to put forth a narrative, let me just tell you this right now, Canada, or anyone that's willing to listen to this video. The minute somebody tries to blame something on an inanimate object, right? They're blaming the gun and the NRA for defending gun rights, which, hello, the U.S., the fucking Constitution of the U.S. is all about the Second Amendment. Well, the First Amendment is freedom of speech, but how do you think you get to keep your freedom of speech without your fucking Second Amendment, which is your right to defend yourself against oppressors? You don't have your first right, you don't have any other rights without your ability to use your Second fucking Amendment. That right that says that I'm not just saying I have a right, I'm saying try to take my rights away, motherfucker. That's what it's all about. But like I say, these dipshits, these collectivists, these leftists, these authoritarian motherfuckers, think about all the times in history. That's what they do. You know, North Korea, these leftists, these kids, what you like Kim Jong-un? Because Kim Jong-un would be in complete agreement with you. Hitler would be in complete agreement with you. Stalin, Mussolini, Mao, they would all be in agreement with these students as far as denying the people the right to bear arms, to defend themselves. So, like I say, yes, I'm getting a little bit emotional here, folks. I'm getting a little bit passionate about this, but it's because it's so important. It's one of the most important things that I've ever covered. One of the most important topics that I've ever covered is the fact that people need to have their capacity, their ability, and their rights, their God-given, their birth rights. The fact that you're alive tells you you have a right to defend yourself against people that want to impose their wills, their mandates, or edicts on you. No, don't use emotional pleas from these fucking kids, these naive fucking students that were indoctrinated in the faith of religion that's called statism. They think that, well, oh, what? Government's going to take care of you? And that's nothing. Let me point this out, too. They're saying the government should take away what? People's gun rights? You know who the government is right now? Donald Trump and his ilk. Are you saying, these leftists, these collectivists, are you saying that Donald Trump should be able to take away all the people's rights to own guns? I thought you fuckers hated Donald Trump. I thought he was a Nazi. So you're promoting him as a Nazi, but you're saying, well, this Nazi should be able to disarm the population? Think about the kind of fucking logic that's going on in the people's head that is thinking along this line in this manner. Wow. Disturbing, folks. Very fucking disturbing. Don't let these propagandist piece of shit. This is an audio segment from Anna Maria Tremonti, that feminist bitch, man. Does she ever? And you listen to the last part. I'll show you the last part of this fucking audio segment of her show.
Because then we know nothing will get done. But no, you don't need to be a Democrat or a Republican to realize that our lives are at stake, and that is not okay, and something needs to change.
Are you all able to vote in the next election?
By November 2018, yes.
So,
I am not, unfortunately.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I will be able to vote, yeah.
So a lot of you who were just dismissed in that last clip will be able to cast a ballot.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And I guess that's the last word.
Listen, she's a pure ideologue. She's a fucking pure dog. Listen, if you put that woman in power for one day, damn, Thankfully, there's only a small percentage of the population that gives this woman even the time of fucking day. But, you know, I listen to it not because I care about what she says as far as, like, aligning with her, but I want to know. This is the thing that people say, oh, well, how come you're listening to all this? How come I see all this CBC? If you don't know what your opponents or the ideologues are saying and what they're trying to put forward and present, well, then you're out of touch with fucking reality. And how are you going to be able to prepare yourself to defend yourself against people you don't understand? I want to understand wholly the kind of people that are against individual rights and freedoms. And I've got Anna Maria's number. I know exactly what she's all about. I've listened to the rhetoric she's espoused for long enough that I know that she's a pure leftist ideologue that would be more than willing to sacrifice the lives of millions of Canadians if it meant having her capacity or her ability to impose her ideology on the rest of us.
A passionate rallying cry from a student after a massacre. That's Emma Gonzalez, a senior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, calling for change at a weekend anti-gun rally, gun control rally, after 14 students and 3 teachers at her school were killed by a gunman. From Virginia Tech to Sandy Hook and dozens of other school shootings, the U.S. has seen this grim scene play out over and over again. The thoughts and prayers from politicians, the grief and the funerals. But now these young people who have grown up in the shadow of Columbine are vowing never again. Yesterday, students from Parkland took their message to legislators in Tallahassee, Florida's state capital. Senior Delaney Tarr took politicians to task for their platitudes.
Coming here today as a teenager full of passion was very disappointing. We've been to many rooms, we've spoken to only a few legislators, and try as they might, the most we've gotten out of them is, we'll keep you in our thoughts, you are so strong, you are so powerful. We've heard enough of that. We've heard enough of, we are so strong, we are so powerful, because that is not why we are here today. We are not here to be patted on the back.
Students across...
So as we're seeing, like I said, Anna Maria and her ilk, these authoritarian collectivists, these feminazis as I call them, they're standing behind the emotional appeals of very young and very naive and obviously emotionally stricken and disturbed individuals. They're standing behind them and using them as shields to put forth and present and jam down the throats their ideology, which is to disarm and deny the people their rights to defend themselves and to bear arms. Anyone that is willing to use people in this manner, to use young people in this manner, well, that should be the first piece of evidence. That is undeniable evidence that these are immoral, unethical, and political opportunist pieces of shit. How dare you? How fucking dare you use these young people's emotions, their appeal, right? Their compassion, their fear. How dare you use them for your own particular political narrative? For your authoritarian mindset, for your capacity to try to disarm the population of not just the U.S., but I see how you're trying to do it in fucking Canada too. Listen, I don't care if you're American, Canadian, or wherever you come from. You better start recognizing and acknowledging that these people don't care about you. They are not benevolent in any way. All they want to do is disarm you and use your own emotions, your own compassion, your own sensibilities against you so that they can become your next authoritarian masters, your opinion makers, ideological authorities. Oh, you better believe I'm really pissed off, folks. You know, there's some people that want to cover these stories and act all like calm, cool, and collective. And I get it. Some of you can do it. Hey, if you're a sociopath, I suppose that's probably an easy thing to do. As much as I'm all about objective, logic, reason, consistency in our morality and our ethics, and using philosophy as the basis for everything that I talk about, yeah, I am a human being. So I do have a heart. My heart, my emotions, you'll see, they will be put on display. I can't help it. I can't deny it. And nor would I ever want to. But at least when I'm using my emotional pleas or my appeals, it's not to impose what I got to say on you. I'm just telling you to start thinking critically about the kind of fucking bullshit rhetoric and propaganda that these people are trying to espouse. Because they're not, it's not that these people, these ideologues, I mean, these people, these young kids, they didn't organize this shit. You know, there are people involved in organizing this shit. These are people that are being led by ideologues. But the ideologues, they want to hide, they want to lurk in the corners and use these kids as their shields for their emotional pleas to disarm and disband the people of the United States' ability or capacity to defend themselves. They want to deny the Second Amendment as the very base platform of what it is or what it entails to have a free society. They want to fully implement their collective ideology, and they know the only way they can do that, the only way they can forcefully impose their mandates, their edicts, their preference on you is to disarm you first. So they're lurking in the corners, hiding, under the rocks, while they're standing behind the emotional pleas of these poor kids, these poor students. Don't let these leftists, don't let these ideologues, don't let them use their pretense of morality or benevolence. Don't let them fucking trick you into thinking that if you just disarm yourself, if you just make yourself helpless and defenseless, oh, don't worry, the government will take care of you. Don't worry, the ideologues on the left, oh, they'll take care of you. Don't let them put forth and present this dialogue, this narrative, and don't fall for it. Please, please don't fall for it. Please. The future of freedom, the future of individual liberty, the future of the Western world, the philosophy of liberty relies on you not falling for their bullshit propaganda and their emotion-based political narratives. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.